force tact remember scariers. You never forget the sound of someone screaming for real. Not the playful shrieks people make on roller coasters. Not the dramatic screams you hear in movies. I mean the kind of scream that cracks open the night. The kind that shreds the air like teeth tearing through fabric. The kind that tells you, in your bones, that something is terribly, violently wrong. I heard that kind of scream one summer night, and I wish, God I wish, I could forget it. The summer we thought we were safey. It was the July after my first year of college, and I had gone with 3 friends, Mason, Jada, and Tyler, to camp near an old state forest that practically no one used anymore. It wasn't closed, just forgotten. The kind of place hunters talked about in past tense, the kind of place fishermen said, "Ooze to be good." We picked it on purpose. We wanted seclusion, a place to drink, laugh, tell ghost stories, and pretend we were living the kind of life movies promised. We hiked in during late afternoon, the air heavy with heat. Cicadas screeching like they were angry at the sun. The trees were so thick that even when the wind blew, the leaves stayed still. The whole forest felt stale, like it hadn't moved in years, but that didn't bother us at first. We set up camp beside a dried-up creek bed. The earth cracked like old skin. By dusk, the fire was going. The beer was cold and the forest felt normal again. Alive even. Moths batting around the lanterns. Crickets tuning the night. Fireflies drift like dying stars. Everything was perfect, until the laughing started. The laugh that didn't belong. I don't know the exact moment it happened. 1 second Mason was telling some stupid story about his high school physics teacher, and we were all laughing. Real, normal laughter. Then one more laugh joined in, a 5th one. A laugh that did not belong to any of us. It came from just beyond the firelight. Sudden. Sharp. Wrong. We all went silent at the same time. Even the fire seemed to crackle more quietly. "Did you hear that?" Jada asked, staring into the darkness. None of us answered, because we had all heard it. It sounded like a person. Like someone trying to mimic the way people laugh, but not in a natural way. More, like someone had listened to recordings of laughter, and was trying to recreate it without understanding why humans laugh in the first place. A long ha-ha, slow, wet, gurgling at the end. Probably an animal, Tyler said, but he didn't sound convinced. We turned off the music. We listened. Silence answered us. A thick, choking silence. Then, a stick snap. Very close. We should have left right then. We need to check it out, Mason whispered. He grabbed the flashlight and pointed it toward the tree line. I wanted to tell him no. Every instinct I had was screaming to stay put, stay close, stay in the light. But no one wanted to look scared. So we followed him. We stepped just outside the glow of the campfire, into the trees where night pressed in like a weight. The flashlight beam shook as Mason swept it across the woods. Branches, leaves, nothing. We were about to turn around when we saw it. Something standing between the trees. At first I thought it was a person. But it was too tall, its limbs too thin, its joints bending at angles that made my stomach twist. It didn't move when the light hit it. Didn't hide. Didn't run. Its face, if it had a face, was lost in shadow. But its head tilted, slowly, like it was studying us. Trying to mimic us. Trying to understand us. The 4 of us breathed. None of us breathed. None of us spoke. Then it did something I still hear in my nightmares. I laughed. That same awful, dragging laugh. But this time it was louder, right there, right in front of us. Back to camp, I whispered. Now. We moved without turning our backs on it, walking slowly until the fire lit our heels. When we finally spun around, the creature was gone, just gone. Like it had melted into the forest. But the forest hadn't gone quiet, it had gone listening. The scream that broke everything. We stayed close to the fire after that. No one talked much. Every crack of the firewood made us jump. Every rustle of the trees felt like breath on our necks. Around 1 a.m., the night shattered. A scream ripped through the woods, high, panicked. Human. A woman's voice. Begging, sobbing, shrieking for help in a way that was so raw and desperate my skin crawled. Jesus. Mason breathed. Someone's out there. Tyler grabbed his backpack. We have to go help her. But Jada shook her head violently. That's not real, she said. That's not a real scream. What the hell do you mean? Listen. The scream came again. But now that we were paying attention, the wrongness was obvious. The voice didn't shift with breath. Didn't crack or break. It didn't change direction. It sounded exactly the same each time. A perfect loop of terror. Like something trying to imitate a scream. Like a recording played over and over, trying to lure someone out. My blood went cold. That thing, I whispered. It's mimicking us. The thing in the dark. We spent the next hour arguing. Tyler insisted it had to be a real person. The screams were too horrific to ignore. But for every step he took toward the woods, that looped, hollow scream repeated exactly the same way. Finally Mason said, "Nuff. Whether it's real or not, we can't just sit here." He grabbed 2 flashlights and a pocket knife and looked at us until we followed. I wish I had never followed him. We walked toward the scream. The forest swallowed us whole. The deeper we went, the louder the scream became. But only in front of us, never behind, never to the side, like it was keeping just ahead of us, leading us somewhere. After about 10 minutes, the scream abruptly stopped. We stopped too. The woods felt dead around us. Not silent, dead, like mice hiding from a hawk. Then we heard breathing. Not ours. Something else. Deep, ragged, almost excited. We slowly turned our flashlights to the right, and there it was, standing inches behind a tree. Tall, wrong, unfolding its lens like it had been waiting for us. Its head tilted, its mouth, a long, split, open shape, pulled wide, and it laughed, right in our faces. That horrible, dragging, choking laugh. Jada screamed. Tyler dropped his light. I felt my knees go weak. The creature stepped forward. And then the forest itself snapped awake. Branches cracked. Something heavy tore through the undergrowth. The creature plunged toward us, limbs jerking too fast, too unnatural. Row! Mason's voice snapped us out of it. We ran like hunted animals, crashing through bushes, stumbling over roots, our breaths burning in our lungs. Behind us, we heard it. That awful laugh. Closer. Closer. The kind of sound that told you it was enjoying the chase. The moment I thought I'd die, we saw the firelight. Thank God, we saw it and sprinted the last few yards back into camp. The moment we reached the clearing, the sounds behind us stopped. Just stopped. We collapsed to the ground, gasping, sobbing, shaking. None of us spoke for a long time. When we finally looked back at the trees, there was nothing there, but we knew it was watching. Hidden behind the black, waiting, listening, studying. We didn't sleep that night. We kept the fire burning, eyes fixed on the tree line, until the sky turned the faintest gray. And just as dawn began to rise, we heard footsteps, not animal footsteps, human ones, slow, dragging, coming from behind our tents. We turned in unison, and a voice, my voice, called out from the woods, "Guys, wait for me." The final night. The moment I heard my own voice calling from the trees, something inside me went ice cold. Not scared, not startled, just empty, like every part of my body understood death was coming. "Guys, wait for me." The voice echoed through the clearing, too smooth, too steady, like a perfect recording, like something had memorized the exact shape of my words. Jada clamped her hand over her mouth. Tyler whispered, "That's not you. That's not you." Then it spoke again. This time, it sounded like Mason. But I was terrified. "Help, please. It's got me." The scream cut off, abruptly, cleanly, like someone had hit the stop button on a tape. We all backed toward the dying fire, shaking so badly the tent poles rattled next to us. "I'm not staying here," Tyler said, his voice cracked into a whisper. "I don't care if it's dark. I am not staying." But where would we go? The path back to the trailhead was miles of thick forest. Night still smothered everything. If that thing was waiting for us behind the trees. "We leave at sunrise," Mason said. His voice was barely holding steady. "The minute the sun is up." We all knew it was the only option. None of us slept. We sat with our backs to each other, watching the tree line, listening to every crunch, every breath of wind, every shift of leaves that could have been something moving. At one point near dawn, the thing began to circle the camp, never stepping fully into sight, just pacing, watching. We heard its footsteps, slow, deliberate. Then it whispered Mason. We all froze. It whispered again. Tyler. Another step, heavier, closer. Jaada. I felt its eyes on me before it spoke. And you. It didn't say my name. It didn't have to. The whisper had weight to it, like a cold hand pressed against the back of my skull. When the first thin blade of sunlight finally broke across the trees, the footsteps stopped. Not faded. Stopped. Dead still. As if sunrise had pinned it in place. We didn't waste a second. The escape, we tore down camp in silence, hands shaking, every nerve in us expecting that thing to leap out the moment we crossed into the trees. The trail was choked with fog, pale and thick, rising off the forest floor like something alive. Every single time a branch snapped, we flinched. Every bird call made us jump. But for the first hour, nothing happened. We started to hope. We started to believe maybe it was gone. But then we reached the creek bed. The dried up, cracked creek where we had set up camp the day before wasn't dry anymore. Water trickled through it, dark, murky, filled with mud and bits of broken leaves. Except it wasn't water. It was thicker, darker, almost black. Guys, Jada whispered, pointing. Is that? Floating downstream were footprints, not prints in mud, actual footprints. Like pieces of skin shaped like human feet, drifting in the dark water. How? Mason whispered, stepping back. How is that even possible? Then we heard it. Somewhere behind us, that laugh, soft, choking, patient. We didn't look back. We ran. Branches tore at our arms. Roots caught our feet. The thing followed, always behind, never rushing, as if it knew we couldn't escape the forest it lived in. We burst out of the trees around noon, sunlight flooding over us like salvation. The parking lot was empty except for our car. The moment Mason turned the key in the ignition, something slammed into the back window. A pale, twisted hand. Long fingers. Too many joints. The glass spider-webbed. Jada screamed. Tyler ducked. The hand dragged slowly across the window, leaving streaks of that thick black substance we had seen in the creek. Then, it vanished. We sped all the way out of the forest, not stopping until we hit the highway. No one spoke the entire drive home. Aftermath, we never went back. We never told anyone what happened, not the full truth anyway. Who would believe us? But sometimes at night, when everything is quiet and I'm trying to sleep, I hear laughter outside my window. Slow, wet, trying to mimic a human voice, trying to get better at it, trying to get closer. And once, only once, I heard something worse. I heard my own voice whisper back. The night we pulled her out, some people fear the deep ocean. Others fear dark forests, abandoned houses, or the endless silence of empty highways at night. But me, I fear lakes. Not because of their depth, not because you can't see the bottom, not because anything could be swimming under you. No, I fear lakes because of what I saw this one summer night. The night we pulled a dead girl out of the water, and she opened her eyes. The cabin by Cutter's Lake, my cousins and I spent every summer at a lakeside cabin our grandparents owned. It wasn't fancy, just 2 bedrooms, a creaky wooden dock, and a beat-up canoe that leaked if more than 2 people sat in it. But we loved it. We spent days swimming, cliff jumping, fishing, and exploring the woods. Nights were bonfires, ghost stories, and sneaking beers from the cooler when the adults fell asleep. That summer, though, everything felt different from the moment we arrived. The lake was quiet, too quiet. No frogs croaking, no crickets chirping, no dragonflies skimming the surface. A storm must be coming, my cousin Lucas said. But the weather stayed clear. The silence stayed too. And, at night, the water didn't reflect the sky the way it should have. Instead of moonlight shimmering peacefully, the surface looked dull, almost matte, like it was swallowing the light instead of reflecting it. Something was wrong with Cutter's Lake, but we didn't understand just how wrong until 4 nights later. The girl in the water, it was close to 1 a.m. We were sitting on the dock, me, Lucas, and our friend Ellie, telling stupid jokes and dangling our feet above the water. The night was humid and still. Not a single ripple disturbed the lake's surface. Then Ellie froze. "What's that?" She pointed out toward the center of the water. At first I didn't see anything, just darkness on top of darkness. But slowly something pale floated to the surface. A shape. A body. "Oh my God," Lucas whispered. "Is that?" We scrambled to the canoe so fast we nearly flipped it. I grabbed the oars, Lucas held the flashlight, and Ellie leaned over the bow, staring at the figure drifting motionless on the lake. When we reached her, everything went silent. She was young, maybe 17, dressed in a torn white nightgown that clung to her like wet tissue, long black hair streaming out beneath her, as if the lake itself were pulling at the strands. Her skin was pale, too pale, like the moon itself had drained the color from her. "She drowned?" Ellie whispered, voice trembling. "We have to get her out." Lucas hesitated. "Shouldn't we call someone first?" "She could still be alive." But she wasn't breathing. Her lips were blue. Her fingers are stiff. Still, Ellie reached out anyway. And the moment her hand touched the girl's arm, the dead girl opened her eyes. The eyes that didn't belong to the living. I don't remember dropping the oars. I don't even remember screaming. But I remember her eyes, milky white, unfocused, but staring straight at us. Her chest didn't rise. Her mouth didn't open. Only her eyes moved. Ellie recoiled so hard she nearly fell into the lake. Lucas dropped the flashlight, sending us into near, total darkness. "What do we do?" he yelled. The girl's lips parted. At first no sound came out, then a faint, bubbling whisper. "Don't let it take me." Her voice sounded like it was underwater. Gurgling. Broken. Ellie grabbed her shoulders. "Ait, what's yout? What happened? Who are you?" The girl's head twitched violently. Her eyes widened. Then she screamed. A long, piercing, watery scream that made every hair on my body stand up. It didn't sound like it was coming from her lungs. It sounded like it was coming from the lake. And the lake responded. The surface around us began to ripple, then churn, then boil. Something moved beneath the canoe. Something big. Too big. "Ow!" Lucas shouted. I grabbed the oars, but the canoe jerked sideways, nearly throwing us off balance. Ellie screamed as the girl's body convulsed in her arms. "Let her go," Lucas yelled. "I can't. She's holding me." The drowned girl's fingers had curled around Ellie's wrist with impossible strength. "Don't let it take me," she whispered again. Then her head snapped toward the water. Her mouth opened in terror. "It's here." The thing that rose from Cutter's Lake. What surfaced next did not belong in any human world. The thing beneath Cutter's Lake, the thing rising from beneath the boat, didn't break the surface all at once. It pushed the lake upward first, like something massive and ancient was rising from the deepest part of the water. The drowned girl's body convulsed violently in Ellie's grip. Her eyes rolled back, showing only white. Ellie T. Hargio," Lucas yelled. "I can't. See me." Then the water around us went black, not dark, not deep black. Thick, pulsing blackness spreading across the lake's surface like ink. The canoe rocked violently as something enormous passed under us. A low, vibrating hum shook the air, like the sound of 1,000 distant voices whispering underwater. The girl's body jerked upright, impossibly stiff, as if pulled by puppet strings. Her jaw unhinged wider than any jaw should be able to. A long, garbled howl erupted from her lungs. except it didn't come from her. It came from the lake through her. The black water surged upward, and a shape climbed from the depths. No face, no eyes. No limbs in any way a human would understand. Just a twisted mass of shadows and water, flowing and rising, forming shapes and losing them again. A nightmare wearing the suggestion of a human outline. Ellie screamed. Lucas clutched the sides of the canoe. I froze, unable to breathe, unable to think. The creature towered above us, dripping sheets of dark water that hissed when they touched the lake. The drowned girl turned toward me, her mouth still hanging open, and whispered, "It wears the lake, the way a grave wears dirt." The creature leaned toward the canoe, and the lake screamed with it. The escape, that should have been impossible, the canoe nearly capsized. Water sloshed inside as Ellie fought to break free from the girl's grip. "We're gonna die," Lucas muttered, shaking. "We're gonna F." The creature struck. A massive tendril of darkness lashed out, slamming into the side of the canoe. It cracked violently, wood splintering beneath us. "I have to jump you," I yelled. "Into the water," Ellie screamed. Another tendril snapped across the lake's surface, sending ripples like shockwaves toward us. We don't have a choice. With one final wrench, Ellie ripped herself from the drowned girl's rigid fingers. Her skin tore where the dead girl held her. We jumped. The water was ice cold, swallowing the breath straight from my lungs. I kicked frantically, surfacing just in time to see the creature tearing the canoe apart like paper. The drowned girl floated at its side, still staring, still whispering something we couldn't hear. "T-ice boy I?" Lucas yelled. We swam blindly through the ink, dark water, every stroke feeling like something might grab our ankles and drag us down. Behind us, the lake churned, screaming, boiling, living. The creature was moving toward us. We reached the dock seconds before something brushed my foot, pulling sharply. I screamed and scrambled upward, slamming onto the wooden boards. Ellie and Lucas collapsed beside me. The water behind us stilled, perfectly, as if nothing had happened. The drowned girl was gone, the creature gone. The lake looked normal again. But we knew better. The night that didn't, we barricaded the cabin door with a table and a dresser. We didn't sleep. We barely spoke. Every so often, there would be a tap on the window. Just one, like a fingernail, long, wet, slow. Tap. None of us dared look. Around 4 a.m., Ellie whispered, "What if she wasn't dead?" Lucas shook his head. "She was dead, Elle. Whatever opened her eyes, whatever spoke through her, that wasn't her." Ellie didn't answer. Another tap sounded against the glass. Long, drawn out. We sat there, frozen, staring at the door, as if something might squeeze through the cracks. When dawn finally came, we left. We didn't pack. We didn't look back at the lake. We didn't tell our parents what happened. Who would believe us? The drowned girl comes back a week later. Ellie stopped answering her phone. Lucas and I went to her house. Her parents said she'd been acting strange, not sleeping, not eating, spending hours staring into glasses of water, as if waiting for something to appear. That night, I found a voicemail from Ellie time-stamped at 3:12 a.m. Her voice was trembling. "It's her. She's in the water. Everywhere I look." A splash sounded in the background. A long, shuddering breath. A whisper. "Don't let it take me." Then nothing. Ellie was found the next morning floating face down in her backyard pool. They called it an accident. Said she slipped, hit her head. But Lucas and I know better. We saw the look on her face. She wasn't afraid when they pulled her out. She was terrified before she died. Her eyes were wide. Her hands clawed at the pool walls. And worst of all, her lips were parted. Just enough to whisper something with what was left of her breath. The same words the drowned girl said on Cutter's Lakey. "It's here." The thing that followed us home 2 nights later. Lucas called me at 1:27 a.m. His voice was flat. "Empty. Look outside," he said. I stumbled to the window. Cutter's Lake reflected in the glass where my backyard should have been. Not literally. Not water, but the same black sheen. Something was standing on my lawn. A girl, soaking wet. Her head tilted. Her hair hangs in thick ropes of lake water. Her eyes are milky white, and she was staring directly at my window. At me. I whispered Lucas's name. He spoke so quietly I barely heard him. It followed us. The figure on my lawn raised a hand. Water poured from her fingertips, not dripping, streaming, like she was draining the lake through her body. Then her mouth opened, and the lake's scream tore through the night. I don't sleep near water anymore. We moved, both of us. Different towns, different counties, but sometimes, in the middle of the night, I'll wake up to the sound of dripping water. No leaks, no faucets, just one slow drop after another, outside my bedroom door. When I look, I see wet footprints leading across the floor. Small ones, bare feet, and sometimes when the room is dark enough, I swear I will hear her voice again. Not angry, not vengeful, just pleading. Don't let it. The thing in the lake doesn't stop. It doesn't forgive. It doesn't forget. It doesn't drown victims. It wears them. And someday, when no one else is around, I know it will come for me too. When it does, I hope someone hears me screaming long after I'm dead. Just like that girl on Cutter's Lake.